Hey, this is Big J. Okerson. You're listening. That's hilarious. Hey, this is Big J. Okerson. You're listening to Laugh or Else Radio. I don't know what the else is, but I'm looking at this guy, and it's probably involving butt stuff.
That's right, Big J. Okerson on the drop there. We grabbed that out front of Zany's one night. This is the Laugh or Else Radio Show here on glorious WNUR-FM, Evanston, and Chicago.
Right down.
I'd like to send a shout out to Eric out in Des Plaines for hollering up during that, what was the name of that group? Oh, damn, I forgot already.
Which one?
The one you asked for.
What, Crucial?
No, before that. The way back song. The throwback. Tap the bottle, man.
Oh, Young Black Artist.
That's it, yeah. So he was ecstatic to hear that. I guess they don't play that on the radio anymore. Which is true.
That's the oldies for us, brother.
Yeah, that is. That's classic hip-hop right there.
No, that's the real hip-hop, not this stuff we hear now.
Not Drake or Nicki Minaj.
Speaking of Drake, did you see that spoof off SNL? They were busting on him for how he was dancing.
No.
Oh, it's great. It's great. You gotta see it. It's hilarious.
Did you ever see when he did his impression of Cat Williams on Saturday Night Live?
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
It's hilarious. He did it really good. I don't like Drake much as an artist, but that was funny. Saturday Night Live has not impressed me much over the years. But there are some.
This year's been pretty. It's been pretty decent.
They've got what it is now is they've got an awesome lineup of young people. Pete Davidson is
impressive young people at that.
I don't know if you ever watched Guy Code on MTV.
Yeah, here and there.
Yeah, Pete Davidson came from there. There's another comedian that was on there, Dan Soder, who's awesome. Yeah. I've been trying to reach out to him on Twitter to see if he'd come on the show. I reached out to Jim Brewer during his rants.
Brewer, he's awesome. Did he respond to you?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
If the Cubs would have won after being down 3-0, he would have came on the show, but
you're dreaming.
Yeah. So I was hoping for some sort of miracle that the Cubs went to the World Series, which never happened. And Brewers Mets did lose against the Royals in the World Series. So
pose a new bet.
What was what?
Pose a new bet.
I would, but he's touring Europe for the next 7 months, so he's not going to be back around or anywhere I can reach out to him other than the Twitter sphere.
You're not going to keep twatting him?
Sorry, Jay. I'm going to have to dump that out. Once again, portions of WNUR's programming may not be appropriate for some of the younger or more sensitive listeners out there. Jay just displayed why. WNUR believes that this material, the music and material we share with you, is artistically and culturally significant. So we will only play this type of material between the hours of what it says here is 11:30 p.m. and 6 a.m. So I guess half of the last hour of K-Sound is allowed to throw some swears into some of their music. Which, by the way, if you enjoyed K-Sound, they will be back next Saturday between the hours of 10 p.m. and midnight. Following my show is Where in Time Are Ryan and Evan from 2 to 4. And you're tuned in to the LOERadio Radio Show on glorious WNUR-FM, Evanston and Chicago. Jay, before the break, we mentioned that we wanted to take a journalistic look at the new Illinois cannabis program. And seeing how you have a little bit of insight on that, I think it'd be great to ask you a few questions and maybe take some calls on the subject. Is that something you're up for?
Absolutely. I just want to give a couple shout outs really quick because my information that I have and the knowledge comes from a few sources, and it's collectively on Facebook. If anybody's interested, there's the Illinois Medical Cannabis Community. There's, I want to say, roughly about 3,000 members strong. maybe just under that. I know we're coming close. I've been a member for quite a while, but we make sure that the information is pretty accurate as can be. There's a lot of admins working hard. And then there's EarthMed. It's a medicinal dispensary out in Addison, Illinois. Great folks, and these guys are the underdogs in the industry. There's a lot of big money at play. Don't be fooled by what Governor Rauner said. There is a lot of big money at play with a lot of people here. But those guys are doing a great job, and I like seeing what they're doing there. They're the underdogs, so let's see the underdog hit the home run. And it's collective, everybody's fighting for the same goal, even for the people that are looking to get on board. So let's rock and roll with these questions, brother.
Woo!
Arr.
All right.
Remember, I'm a pirate this week.
Yeah. Arr. I'm of the firm belief that some of these vets with PTSD could benefit from medicinal marijuana because of the what kind of effects it has on your nervous system. The effects will calm many down. I know that people with Tourette's can use medical marijuana, and it will relieve their symptoms for at least the time being. Also, people with epilepsy.
Yeah, that was actually fast-tracked prior to the program coming out. People who were prone to epileptic seizures and whatnot were actually fast-tracked to being card holders prior to anybody else becoming card holders.
Right. So the last time we talked about the pilot program, they were going to introduce 7 or was it 11 new symptoms that would fall under the category? It was
approved to 11. Everybody was fighting, and ironically enough, Governor Rauner on Suicide Prevention Day basically ordered Dr. Shaw to deny all 11 conditions, including PTSD. Now there are 8 conditions that were approved by the board, which is made up of some civilians, former veteran, patient advocates, doctor, or a couple doctors, I want to say. And these people have now collectively agreed on 8 new conditions. And we're waiting for approval on that from essentially the governor. And this program has just around 3,000 patients right now. Maybe closer to 4,000 possibly. I haven't checked recently what the total number is. So it's very slim pickings for the businesses that are open or that are going to open. I believe there's 28 dispensaries that they're talking about having open at the beginning of the year or just after the turn of the new year.
And I did read somewhere there's going to be one in Elmwood Park.
Yes, actually. They just found a zoning on that. So that's going to be approved, but they have the license. They were awarded the license. So
a dispensary isn't exactly where they grow. The growery would be somewhere else, I would imagine, right?
Yes. There's.
So is it one growery for all dispensers, or is it?
No, there's multiple grows. There's different industries. Like there's GTI Industries.
You mean Philip Morris isn't involved yet?
Well, like I said, there is money at play. I'm not going to go out naming names. But there is a very large player in the alcohol industry that's involved in the medicinal game.
No, are you serious?
Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to go naming names because it's
but
very unprofessional.
If you got some Google, you can look that up right away.
You could do some cross-referencing and you could figure it out. If it's just like in government. You follow the money, you could figure it out.
Yeah, and
you follow the paper trail, you can figure this out.
You know what? It's going to be the ATF&M soon. They're going to have to add marijuana to the alcohol, tobacco.
Well, that's why I'm glad, honestly, Iowa shot down. Their people, their voters were smart, and they declined any form of cannabis legalization because only the rich stood to profit off of it. Now, here in Illinois, we had a governor that said he didn't want cronyism involved. He didn't want it to be just a monopoly by the rich. Well, unfortunately, some people got that. And some of these grows are directly tied with some of these dispensaries. Now, they are going to be able to control the marketplace as far as the price. And that isn't necessarily the best thing.
Well,
this is the pilot program we have, and there's ways to amend, the current laws and rules that are in place, and that's through us as collectively as one voice speaking up.
Okay, so there's no there's no regulation on the pharmaceutical industry at all, so they can make up prices as they see fit.
The pricing right now is matching the black market, so there's not really much benefit to anybody patient-wise to sell their medicine on the black market. They're going to be paying the same price. And honestly, there's so much cannabis that's coming in from California and Colorado and, the Washington area and even Michigan, another medicinal state. There's so much high-grade cannabis coming into this state that they're only, I believe they said in the mail that they're only capturing about 10% of it. So realistically, putting your medicine on the black market isn't the most feasible option for someone.
No.
Nor do you want to risk your card. That would be actually very foolish.
Right. Weren't you saying something about how it'd be easy to trace it back to somebody if you were selling it like that?
Yeah, and actually that's one thing that I am very happy that the state, one part of the program, there's a lot of components to the program that I don't agree. Like if anybody is interested in becoming a medicinal member, like I stated, that the Facebook community, Illinois Medicinal Cannabis Community, at the top header, it states basically, the Illinois Cannabis Pilot Program states the conditions that are approved, and it kind of gives you some information that you can, basically self-information to help you figure out and navigate, do I need to do any more research to see if I qualify, or you can just ask the community, and there's a lot of people, even people in the industry, that are
doctors even.
Absolutely, there's doctors, there's dispensary owners, there's a lot of patients, there's people who work for the groweries. It's like I said, it's a huge collective.
It's a community. You're right.
Absolutely.
Right. And it's a budding community. It's just starting out here in Illinois, but if signs are anything like Colorado and Washington, I think this is a benefit. Unfortunately, the politics that go on in Illinois may ruin it somewhere down the line. You know how that goes, man.
Absolutely.
All of a sudden, things are booming, and then the next minute, somebody sells all growing rights to Amsterdam or something, and now it's all getting imported rather than being grown locally or organically.
Well, I don't foresee that happening, honestly. I mean, this is the Midwest. We grow corn, we grow everything. I think, honestly, as these states start falling like dominoes, I honestly think that this is going to be an openly traded commodity, just like corn, wheat. Granted, we're talking years down the pipeline, but I do think that it will be traded.
You know what? They should bring back the tactile industry for hemp, because there's so much we could be doing with it and growing it locally. Like, I don't know, I was reading somewhere where they were saying, like, all the leaves and shavings of the marijuana don't get used when there is potential use.
Well, keep in mind that there are some leaves and stems that are completely a waste. There's no THC, there's no CBD, there's no THCA compound.
Right, but you could use that stuff for hemp.
Absolutely. You can use the stemming for rope.
Mm-hmm.
And that
clothing, paper, plastic.
Correct. And right now, as stands in the state of Illinois, all that product has to be destroyed. It has to be, the weight has to be kept. It has to be kept under lock and key. And it has to be destroyed, I believe, in some form of incinerator.
They treat it like they do opiates, man.
It's like, insane.
Yeah.
I honestly, I went to, there's another dispensary, the clinic in Mundelein. Very nice operation out there. And I believe it was around $1 million that was spent on that facility. What it was described to us when I went to the ribbon cutting ceremony there is that a truck, essentially I'm guessing something similar to an armored truck, but a truck has to drive into a caged area. It gets closed behind the truck. The cannabis is unloaded, And then it goes into another caged receiving area where everything is scanned into a system. And there's a live tracking system where the state of Illinois tracks everything from the budding of the plant through the grow process. They can tune in live to any camera feed on any growery at any time they like and follow that plant from seed all the way to dispensary to
your lungs.
Almost. They know what patient gets what.
Right. Yeah, they can tell like the age of the batch, and they'd be able to find out which batch it was, where it came from. So
yeah, they have a CODIS where they can test it and find out what batch lot.
Right,
all that
and
good
then
stuff.
they don't sell like boot mud, curb serve.
Absolutely, there's some amazing names on this stuff, and
right,
it is truly medicine. It really is. My ailment. Out of the
what is it you suffer from again?
It's called spinal stenosis.
Okay.
Basically, I had a vertebrae fracture on me, and it caused a spinal depression on my spinal cord.
Jesus, dude, you get crushed by an elevator? What happened?
No, actually, go figure. You know how we used to play tackle football out on the streets of Chicago and everything?
Yeah.
Well, it had nothing to do with that. It was some stretch wrap at a job that I was at, wrapped around my feet, took my feet off from underneath me. And in martial arts, you learn to fall so many times. Well, unfortunately, they don't teach you how to fall like a tree falling in the forest. So all I did was tuck my head, and it took that one fall to cause that vertebrae to slip and fracture.
Bogus.
Yeah, but you know what? There's people out there that are suffering far more from a wide array of ailments that aren't covered by this. And you mentioned veterans earlier. That is the one group that should be fast-tracked immediately. And I know the government...
Your government ID should act as a cannabis ID.
Absolutely. And there's already scientific proof in other countries that this works for PTSD. You have veterans from the black market obtaining this product, saying that it works better than all the antipsychotics, which actually cause more psychosis than help.
Meanwhile, they give you stuff like Chantix to quit smoking, and it gives you such nightmares.
Precisely.
That it would freak you. It would turn you insane.
If you think about it, if you're a soldier with PTSD, don't you have enough nightmares?
Yeah, dude. You cold sweats, waking up at every creaky sound, every
Right.
drop of water because you think you're under attack.
And I'm not saying, and this is no disrespect to any veterans that may potentially be listening, because I cannot relate to anything that you've gone through. And since I brought it up, thank you for your service.
That's right.
But this country needs to do a service to our veterans. We need to turn around and make this medicine available. It's just an herb. And honestly,
right.
we have a cannabinoid system that's meant to have this in our bodies. That's why we retain it so long.
This is why when you go to take a urine test, they test for something that's already in your body. But based on whatever the levels are, they can tell how often you use it.
And the problem with testing for cannabis is that there's various cannabinoids, there's various compounds that make up.
Yeah, that can appear to be cannabinoids in your system.
Right,
So
and there's a process called hold on. It's kind of a long word here. Decarboxylation.
There it is.
All right, and now somebody took a piece of bud and just chewed it up and ate it. You're not going to get high. You're not going to get the psychoactive properties. You're not going to get a body buzz. That process has to happen, and the way that process happens is through heat.
Yeah,
so
inhibitors.
So when you take that flame to that cannabis, that THCA now becomes a activated THC, and it now becomes, it has the psychoactive properties, and it becomes either a medicine, it either calms you down, depending on what strand it is. It can give you a slight buzz of energy.
Yeah.
And you're not couch locked, as they call it, and sitting down, eating munchies, playing video games, whatever it may be. You can
not doing what you would normally do in high school.
Right. And there's actually strands like Charlotte's Web, which was developed for a young girl, I believe, who had to relocate to Colorado, and it's a CBD
oil.
What they do extract it into an oil. but the plant CBD can only be grown. So it's not something that can be added during the process of the cannabis plant growing. It can only be harvested as a CBD plant, which has very low psychoactive THCA. So the CBD dominant strand is great for pain relief. It's great for relaxing the brain altogether, muscles. It's an amazing anti-inflammatory. It works great with my neuropathy, actually.
It's something I wanted to ask you was, you mentioned that the little girl moved to Colorado because she couldn't get it anywhere else, and her parents believed that it was helpful enough to relocate her. Now, do you think something like this can benefit kids with something like ADHD or...
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, then again, it opens, Pandora's box. Are kids too young for this? Because I know...
Well, here's different angles, because everybody's got the focus on reefer madness. You have to smoke this in order to get the benefits. Now, when we're talking about a CBD-dominant strain of cannabis, there's different ways that this can be ingested into the body. And it doesn't have to be through a brownie. There's something called tinctures that you can turn around.
Like a tea or...
Well, you can make it into a tea, but basically you take this through an eyedropper and you put, some drops, depending on how strong of a dose it is, underneath the tongue. Allow it to absorb before you start swallowing. And that hits your bloodstream very quickly, and it does the job.
Yeah.
Your child's not going to get high. It's not going to have the psychoactive properties.
No,
and
just the medicinal properties.
And here's a little more education for people, and they can definitely verify this online, that CBD counteracts the psychoactive properties of activated THC. So when you have a high CBD strain, and there's that little bit of THCA, and it becomes activated, that CBD automatically counteracts that activity.
So we're talking to Big J about Illinois' cannabis pilot programming. This is WNUR-FM, Evanston in Chicago. You're listening to the Laugh or Else radio show. My name is Tim Radicek, and again, that's Big J.
So what's up?
If you wanted to dial in and ask Jay anything about the subject at hand, you can do so by dialing 847-866-9687. Again, that number is area code 847-866-WNUR. On top of that, Jay, so give me a kind of run through. Somebody scores their medicinal card, and then what do you get? Some paperwork that says, all right, here's a list of some of the distributors nearby. Just bring your card and away you go?
No, actually it's a much more lengthy process.
Of course,
even to get your card.
I would assume it's like trying to get a gun.
Actually, it's more difficult, believe it or not. Sad as that sounds.
Yeah,
it's
even in the
difficult.
toughest town to have a gun.
Absolutely. No, you have to go. First of all, you have to qualify completely for one of the conditions.
So you applied when?
I'd have to say it was back in, I want to say June, or
Of
just
last
before
year?
June. Yeah, no,
this
I would say springtime. I applied and I finally received a response. It was in June I received a response from the state, and it wasn't until the end of October, that they finally got the cards going out to everybody that's been approved. There's some people that have been approved for essentially 2 years. So that shows you how fast our state, even though there are model programs that they could have taken a ready structure, they took their sweet time.
Yeah.
But we're here, and there's no need to be negative. We just need to make the program better and more available.
That's true. I think now, after about a year or two, they'll start opening it up. They'll add more conditions that can apply. Because, at first there was like a list of 15 things, and they were all like, you're on death's doorstep. Oh
yeah.
You have to be like days from dying in order to be qualified.
Right.
But like you said, they pushed up the new 8.
there's the new 8 conditions that have been approved by the board. The one politician that's been a warrior, a true champion for all the cannabis patients out there is Lou Lang. Can't say enough about the guy. He's really done his job as a politician for not only his constituents, but lateral patients as well that would benefit from this program. He's fought very hard, and I'm sure he's going to work hard to try and get these approved. Trying to work with our Republican governor. Now, with that stated, we need Rauner to move on these 8 conditions because PTSD is one of those conditions that was approved and that needs to go through immediately. There are a lot of veterans that need relief. There has been the restrictions through the federal government are gone. We need to make this available to our veterans.
I am in total agreement. There's nothing that could probably be more helpful to them and cheap. Because
cheap. I wouldn't say cheap.
It's
unless our government's gonna cover the medicine for them.
Okay, all right.
Right now we're talking about some shops are $450 an ounce. Other shops are about $400 an ounce.
What about edibles though?
Edibles are not available as of yet. They will be in the state of Illinois. Tinctures, edibles. They're just not available yet.
Just not yet.
Okay. They're saying December, probably. I'm guessing by the new year. There's no set date. No, but I'm pretty sure because a lot of people don't want to smoke it. They want to ingest it some other way. Absolutely.
Because somebody who's against smoking altogether.
Well, I'm one of those individuals. I with a cervical issue, a spinal issue, you don't want to cough. It just inflames the process more. So then there's the option of vaping it. You don't have to
just get the oil and then
right. Well, there's terpenes, and then basically when you smell a piece of cannabis and it has that aroma, sometimes an earthy smell, sometimes it might smell like a skunk. That's known as a terpene. That's what you smell. And then, the crystals, what everybody calls crystals, those are known as trichomes.
Right.
And the trichomes hold that THCA compound, which is unactivated psychoactive property of cannabis.
All right, Jay. Well, I think it's time for our last music break of the evening, or the morning, the whatever. It's one
the AM.
The AM. It is 1:26 a.m. here in Chicago. You're listening to WNUR-FM Evanston and Chicago. This is Chicago Sound Experiment and home to the Northwestern Wildcats sports program. Since we are talking about medicinal cannabis this morning, we're going to play some music regarding cannabis itself. To kick us off, well, also I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to throw a little bit of comedy in there like I promised earlier. You're going to throw some George Carlin in there, Jay. I don't know if you're a fan.
I love Carlin.
I mean, I'm so sad he's gone. But
yeah.
We're going to open it up with Sublime. This one's called Smoke Two Joints.
All right.
Check it out. Stay with us. We'll be back.
At night.
We'll be back in a few. This is WNUR 89.3 FM.
Reefers.